Ladies and gentlemen, let's quickly go across to this story that we have been continuously tracking here on NDTV. A passenger plane from Azerbaijan Airlines burst into flames after crashing near the Aqtau city of Kazakhstan. Reuters has reported and has said that this has in fact been confirmed by the emergency ministry of the country. The plane was en route from Azerbaijan's capital Baku to Grozny in Russia's Chechnya, but was rerouted due to fog at the destination. A video showed the aircraft rapidly losing altitude and started banking to its right. It crashed into an open field and burst into flames. Reports also indicate that there are at least 25 survivors as far as this plane is concerned. Let me bring in at this moment Christina Maliak. She's the correspondent for Sputnik, that's the news agency in Russia. Thank you, Christina, for joining us with details on this story. At this moment, what are the rescuers telling you? How many people have been rescued and what's the situation on the ground?
Hello. As far as we know, that an Azerbaijan Airlines plane flying from Baku to Grozny crashed in Kazakhstan. There were 62 passengers and 5 crew members on board. Among them was 16 Russian citizens and 37 Azerbaijani citizens, and as well as 6 Kazakhs and 3 Kyrgyz citizens. As far as we know, 27 survivors were taken to hospitals after the plane crash in Kazakhstan. That's the information we got from the Ministry of Emergency Situations of Kazakhstan. As far as we know as well, 52 rescues and 11 units of equipment from the Ministry of Emergency Situation is still working on the plane crash. And the plane crash was a collision of flock of birds. So the special commissions should conduct an investigation in the connection of the crash. That's all what we know from the Ministry of Transport and from the Ministry of Emergency Situation of Kazakhstan.
Right. You know, Christina, also any word as far as the reason for this crash, any initial information why this plane suddenly, in fact, crashed?
As far as we know, the cause was a collision with a flock of birds.
All right, thank you for joining us with all those details at this moment. In fact, Christina giving us a view of what had happened at this moment. 27 people have been taken to the hospital after this plane crashed. Let me also bring in Sanjay Lazar, aviation expert, who is with us at this moment. Vishnu Shom, my colleague, is also, in fact, with us. All right, we'll go to Vishnu in just a short while from now. But Mr. Lazar, thank you so much for joining us. You know, you've seen the video as well, and it suddenly happened. I mean, the plane requested emergency landing, and it suddenly, even before people could react, it was on a very quick spiral down before it crashed, sir.
Yes. First of all, it's a tragic accident, and you know, the visuals, I've gone through a number of videos from various angles, and it's reported that the aircraft was en route to Baku and was diverted due to fog. It did circle a bit here and then suddenly plummeted. Now I heard your other correspondent from Sputnik talking about a bird hit, but you know, I can't seem to imagine that it could be such a disastrous bird hit at such a height, and it suddenly crash landed in a ball of flame, which I think, you know, probably we'd have to wait for the investigations and look deeper into it. But it's miraculous that 27 people were taken to the hospital. We believe there are between 20 and 25 survivors. I'm praying that they recover more. But, you know, looking at the way that it imploded on impact and, you know, just burst into flames, hard to say that there would be more. But, you know, we are keeping our fingers crossed and praying. But it will be interesting to, you know, see what the results of an investigation would be, because there don't seem to be any impact of birds initially in any of the videos that I have seen, or, you know, sudden deceleration. So it's quite a mystery. And this is an Embraer, and you know, it's been a reasonably safe aircraft in all versions. They've had about 7 or 8 accidents so far, but this is really unusual. So I'm sure the people at Embraer will also, want to look at it and chip in.
That is exactly what I was coming to next, just to get a sense of the aviation safety record of Azerbaijan as well, and the airlines. Like you said, that relatively there hasn't been much, in fact, mishaps as far as this airlines is concerned. In that regard, could you also tell us what aircraft was this, and what make was this aircraft, and any information regarding that?
This is an Embraer, and this is a Brazilian aircraft. It's a reasonable. That's what I was talking about. A reasonably safe type of aircraft, and a couple of an Indian airline also operates it within India, and it's had a very good safety record by and large. So I would not put it on the aircraft type, or it's got to do with other circumstances. Azerbaijan Airlines has an average safety record, so there's nothing to write home about, nor is there anything to panic about. This has to be something out of the ordinary. During the history of Embraer, they've only had 8, serious accidents so far, like I said, and I do not believe that this is, something to do with the aircraft. I think it's something else. So probably, like I said, I'd rather. Discretion is the better part of valor here. I'd rather wait for an investigation to report what the facts are than speculate.
Thank you so much. Just stay on with me, Mr. Lazar. My colleague Vishnu Shom is also joining us on the phone line at this moment. Vishnu, what is the information that you are picking up as far as the survivors are concerned? Any initial reports about the reason for this crash?
Well, firstly, the aircraft in question is an Embraer E190 aircraft. It is an extremely new aircraft. It has a very decent safety record and reliability record. Now, there are at least, we are told at this stage that there are 25 survivors from this crash. There were nearly 70-odd passengers on board, nationalities of several countries, several Russian, several from Azerbaijan, several from other countries as well. An investigation has obviously been launched into this. There is a couple of preliminary points which I've been able to pick up on based on data which I've looked at from flight data, from Flight Radar 24. The E190 made impact with the ground at a speed of 211 knots ground speed, which translates to more than 390 kilometers per hour. I've seen the entire video which was available of the final 3-odd minutes of the flight. The pilot, the aircraft was oscillating a bit. It was going up and down. Towards the last stages of the flight, it descended very sharply. It picked up airspeed to a significant extent before the pilot attempted to pull out to flare to reduce the angle of attack going into the landing. Unfortunately, that did not work out, obviously, for whatever the reasons are, and it made impact at a speed of more than 390 kilometers per hour or 211 knots. Now, just by way of information, and this isn't necessarily or isn't likely a cause of the crash, Flight Radar 24 tracks most aircraft around the world, civilian aircraft. They track it through various means. One of those is through a system called ADS-B, which generates data on the exact location of the aircraft. It's based on signals which the aircraft actually signals from the aircraft. Flight Radar 24 says that this particular aircraft encountered GPS jamming or global positioning system jamming, as a result of which the ADS-B signal was lost to the receivers of Flight Radar 24. So for a large part of the flight, they didn't have a direct fix on the location of the aircraft, but they did pick it up towards the end of the flight, and they were able to record through data the final few moments of the flight, the details of which I have indicated to you. The aircraft did appear to make a few circuits of near the airport or the area where it finally went down, and it then did go down very tragically, and it has resulted in a significant loss of life. In terms of Azerbaijan Airlines, there have been a couple of incidents. In 2005, there was an Antonov AN-140, which is a Russian-built aircraft that crashed shortly after takeoff from Baku. That resulted in the death of 23 people on board. There was an emergency in December. There were earlier concerns as well, but no other crashes I'm aware of. But in terms of the airline itself, it's a major carrier. It's been certified as a 4-star airline by Skytrax. It's 4 out of 5 possible stars. It has a decent quality of service. It is well known, several international, operations. It successfully passed an IATA operational safety audit. IATA is the International Aviation Transport Association. So it is regarded to be, a major airline. So what exactly happened? Were there factors other than technical factors which caused this? What were those? All of that we will need to wait and find out. But yes, the aircraft was squawking 7700. In other words, they had let out a distress signal. It was emanating a distress signal indicating that there was an emergency, shortly after which the aircraft crashed.